doorbell transformer can pose a potential shock hazard due to several factors. Transformers often have exposed wiring terminals that are easily touched. Doorbell transformers typically operate at low voltages, typically 16 to 24 volts alternating current, which can still cause a painful and potentially dangerous shock. Also, the transformer's location matters. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not specifically address the placement of doorbell transformers in unfinished basements. However, several code sections may be relevant when evaluating the safety of such an installation. Section 406.9 Accessible portions of enclosures states that accessible portions of enclosures shall be electrically safe under normal conditions. Section 725.130 Location in wet and damp locations dictates that no equipment shall be located in a wet or damp location or outdoors unless identified for such use. Although the NEC does not explicitly prohibit placing doorbell transformers in unfinished basements, it can be argued that exposed wiring terminals violate the requirement for electrical safety under normal conditions. Secondly, an unfinished basement may be considered a damp location, where the transformer is not identified for such use. Thirdly, allowing access to an exposed transformer poses an unacceptable risk. Given the potential safety hazard and the interpretation of the code, relocating the doorbell transformer to a safer location outside of reach is recommended. There are several ways to make the installation safer. One option is to enclose the transformer in a junction box. This will prevent accidental contact with the terminals. Be sure to use a listed junction box suitable for the environment. Ensure the junction box is securely mounted. Another solution is to relocate the transformer to a higher location, at least 8 feet above the floor, making it inaccessible to children. This can often be achieved by running the low-voltage wires to the desired location. A further option is to use a listed Class 2 transformer that is designed to limit the current in the event of a fault. Such transformers often have built-in overcurrent protection. When relocating the transformer, ensure all wiring connections are properly made and secured. Use appropriately sized wire connectors and ensure proper grounding. If the basement is damp, use a transformer that is rated for damp locations or install it in a weatherproof enclosure. If you are unsure about the safety of your doorbell transformer installation, consult a qualified electrician for an evaluation and recommendations. Remember that even low-voltage circuits can pose a shock hazard, especially to young children. Always prioritize safety when working with electrical equipment. When evaluating the safety of a doorbell transformer installation, consider the following. Firstly, the accessibility of the transformer. Is it located in an area where children or pets could easily come into contact with it? Secondly, the condition of the wiring. Is the wiring exposed, damaged, or improperly connected? Thirdly, the environmental conditions. Is the area damp or wet, which could increase the risk of electrical shock? Fourthly, compliance with local electrical codes. Does the installation meet the requirements of the local electrical codes? Addressing these factors can significantly reduce the risk of electrical shock. If you find any issues, take corrective action immediately, such as relocating the transformer, replacing damaged wiring, or installing a proper enclosure. Regular inspection of electrical components in your home is crucial for identifying potential hazards before they lead to accidents. Pay attention to warning signs like flickering lights, burning smells, or warm outlets, as these could indicate underlying electrical problems. Stay informed about electrical safety practices and regulations to protect yourself and your family from electrical hazards. By understanding the risks and taking appropriate precautions, you can create a safer home environment. Always disconnect the power supply before working on any electrical components, and never work on electrical systems when you are wet or standing in water. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician to do the job. Electricity is a powerful force that can be dangerous if not handled properly. Approach electrical work with caution and respect, and always prioritize safety. The NEC provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations to minimize the risk of fire and electrical shock. Familiarize yourself with the relevant sections of the NEC to ensure your electrical systems are up to code. The NEC is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advancements in electrical technology and safety practices. It is essential to use the latest edition of the NEC to ensure your electrical systems meet current safety standards. Local jurisdictions may also have their own electrical codes, which may be more stringent than the NEC. Check with your local building department to determine the applicable electrical codes in your area. Electrical permits are often required for electrical work, especially for new installations or modifications to existing systems. Obtain the necessary permits before starting any electrical work to ensure compliance with local regulations. Electrical inspections are typically conducted after electrical work is completed to verify that the installation meets code requirements. Schedule an inspection with your local building department to ensure your electrical work is safe and compliant. Working with electricity can be dangerous, but by following proper safety procedures and adhering to electrical codes, you can minimize the risk of accidents. If you have any doubts about your ability to perform electrical work safely, consult a qualified electrician. The low voltage supplied by a doorbell transformer is generally considered safe under normal conditions, but it can still cause a shock if the wiring is exposed or damaged. Children are particularly vulnerable to electrical shock because their bodies are smaller and their skin is thinner. Take extra precautions to protect children from electrical hazards in your home. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are designed to protect people from electrical shock by detecting ground faults and interrupting the circuit. Install GFCIs in areas where there is a risk of water exposure, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and basements. Arc fault circuit interrupters, or FCIs, are designed to protect against electrical fires by detecting arc faults and interrupting the circuit. Install FCIs in bedrooms and other areas where electrical fires are more likely to occur. Surge protectors protect electronic devices from damage caused by voltage spikes. Use surge protectors to protect your computers, televisions, and other sensitive electronic equipment. Extension cords are intended for temporary use only. Do not use extension cords as permanent wiring. If you need additional outlets, have a qualified electrician install them. Overloading electrical circuits can cause overheating and fires. Avoid plugging too many devices into a single circuit. If you frequently trip circuit breakers, have a qualified electrician evaluate your electrical system. Aluminum wiring was commonly used in homes built in the 1960s and 1970s. Aluminum wiring can be a fire hazard if it is not properly installed and maintained. If you have aluminum wiring in your home, have it inspected by a qualified electrician. Knob and tube wiring is an older type of wiring that is still found in some older homes. Knob and tube wiring can be a fire hazard if it is not properly maintained. If you have knob and tube wiring in your home, have it inspected by a qualified electrician. Electrical fires can be caused by a variety of factors, including faulty wiring, overloaded circuits, and damaged appliances. If you have an electrical fire, evacuate the building immediately and call the fire department. Electrical safety is an important consideration for every homeowner. By taking the necessary precautions, you can protect yourself and your family from electrical hazards. The interpretation of the NEC codes can be complex and is always based on the latest version available at the time of installation. It is crucial to stay updated with the latest revisions and local amendments to ensure compliance. A qualified electrician will have the necessary knowledge and expertise to interpret the codes correctly and apply them to your specific situation. They can also help you identify potential hazards and recommend solutions to improve the safety of your electrical system. Remember, the NEC is a minimum standard, and in some cases, it may be necessary to exceed the code requirements to ensure the safety of your home and family. For example, you may want to install additional GFCIs or FCIs beyond what is required by the code, especially in areas where children or pets are present. Regular maintenance of your electrical system is also essential for ensuring its safety and reliability. Have your electrical system inspected by a qualified electrician at least every 3 to 5 years to identify any potential problems before they become serious hazards. Pay attention to any warning signs, such as flickering lights, tripping circuit breakers, or unusual noises coming from electrical devices. These signs could indicate underlying electrical problems that need to be addressed promptly. If you are planning to make any changes to your electrical system, such as adding new outlets or installing new appliances, consult a qualified electrician to ensure the work is done safely and in accordance with the code. Never attempt to do electrical work yourself unless you have the necessary knowledge and experience. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it is always best to leave it to the professionals. When choosing an electrician, be sure to select a licensed and insured contractor with a proven track record of providing quality work. Ask for references and check online reviews to get an idea of their reputation and expertise. A reputable electrician will be happy to answer your questions and explain the work they plan to do. They should also be able to provide you with a written estimate before starting the job. Remember, safety should always be your top priority when it comes to electrical work. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your electrical system is safe, reliable, and compliant with the code. If the doorbell transformer is old or damaged, it should be replaced with a new one that meets current safety standards. Look for a transformer that is listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories or UL. A listed transformer has been tested and certified to meet safety standards. When replacing the transformer, be sure to disconnect the power supply before working on the wiring. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for installation and wiring. Use appropriately sized wire connectors and ensure proper grounding. After the transformer is installed, test the doorbell to ensure it is working properly. If you have any doubts about your ability to replace the transformer safely, consult a qualified electrician. The risk of electrical shock is greatest when working with wet or damp conditions. Never work on electrical systems when you are wet or standing in water. If you must work in a damp environment, wear rubber gloves and rubber-soled shoes. Use a ground fault circuit interrupter to protect yourself from electrical shock. If you see any signs of water damage near electrical equipment, such as corrosion or rust, have it inspected by a qualified electrician. Water and electricity do not mix, and it is important to take extra precautions to avoid electrical shock in wet or damp environment. Consider relocating the transformer to a location that is not exposed to water. A doorbell transformer's typical lifespan is around 10 to 20 years, depending on the quality and the amount of use. Over time, components can degrade, increasing the risk of failure or electrical hazards. Regular inspections can help identify signs of wear or damage, such as cracks, discoloration, or loose connections. If you notice any of these issues, it's best to replace the transformer as a preventative measure. This ensures continued safe and reliable operation of your doorbell system. Furthermore, upgrading to a newer, more efficient transformer can potentially save energy and reduce the risk of overheating. Proper ventilation around the transformer is also essential to prevent overheating. Ensure that the transformer is not covered or obstructed by any objects and that there is adequate airflow around it. Overheating can lead to premature failure and increase the risk of fire. Finally, if you are unsure about the condition of your doorbell transformer or the safety of its installation, it is always best to consult a qualified electrician. They can perform a thorough inspection and recommend the appropriate course of action to ensure the safety of your home and family. Early detection and preventative maintenance can significantly reduce the risk of electrical hazards.